Shalom, Israel. Brother Karatazar, Shield of Israel 144. Just a quick lesson on, it's time to come back to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics of Negro and Indian descent, you are the children of Israel according to the Bible, history, and archaeology. And now is the time to start coming back to the Lord, with everything that's going on in this world, that it's just getting worse and worse. And like I always say, it's not going to get better. It's just going to continue to start spiraling out of control, going down. And now is the time to start coming back to the Lord, especially, in particular, you Israelites that left the law, statute, commandments, and the faith in the Mashiach Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. It's just time to come back to the Most High. And because your salvation is at hand. You know, let's go to the book of Revelations, chapter 1, verse 3, and it reads, "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." Like the scripture said, the time is at hand. And we have to get into this book and read and take a look at these prophecies, because and what's written in this book, is the prophecy of the end time. What's written in this book is, our law, statute, commandments, our way of life, and how we're supposed to be conducting ourselves, especially in these last days, because there's no doubt that we're coming up on the last days, with everything, like I said, is going on, prices of everything going up. People can't afford to live. The violence, the debauchery, the unlawfulness, it's just waxing worse and worse. Wars and rumors of wars, like the scriptures say. So the time is at hand that we got to come back to the Most High God of Israel, so we can be saved from all this calamity that's about to be upon this earth. It's time to wake up, you know what I'm saying, and come back to the Lord. Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11, right? And it reads, "And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe." So the scriptures is telling you it's time to wake up, because you're going to need that salvation, because it's nearer than you believe, as the scriptures say. It's time to come back to the Lord and to seek his mercy and his grace, so we might be saved, because Paul expressed his desire for Israel to be saved. Let's go to it. It's the book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 1. And it reads, "Brethren, my heart desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved." Now, Paul didn't say everybody else in the world. He's talking about the nation of Israel being saved, because the Most High God of Israel is the God of Israel. And Paul is, his heart's desire and prayer is that Israel be saved. And like I said, you so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans of Negro and Indian descent, you are the children of Israel. And it's time to wake up out of sleep, read these prophecies, read what's written in this book, and come back to the ways of the Lord, walking in the ways of the Lord, as the scriptures say. It's time to stop eating the pork. It's time to stop listening to your Christian pastors that's telling you that the Most High love everybody and everybody can get salvation. No, that salvation is only for the children of Israel, So it's time to put down the ways of the heathen and come back to the Most High God of Israel. I think, the scriptures express that in Jeremiah 10, right? Don't choose the ways of the heathen. And all in this captivity, throughout the four corners of the earth, we've been choosing the ways of the heathen. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, and verse 2. And it reads, "Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the custom of the people are vain. For one cutteth out a tree of the forest, the works of the hands of the workmen with the axe." So this is saying, don't follow the ways of the heathen. This particular verse is talking about, cutting down a tree, decorated with silver and gold, following the custom and the ways of Christmas. And that goes for anything else that we follow: Thanksgiving, New Year's, the 4th of July. All these customs of the heathen are vain. We have our own law, statute, and commandments that we have, and our high holy days that we're supposed to keep that the Lord gave us. So we don't have to keep the ways of the heathen. We have to keep the ways of God. You know, like just like Revelation said, we have to come back to what is written in this book and the prophecy. And for all these people that say they can still eat pork, well, let's go to what is written in the prophecy about eating pork. You know, like I said, we got to wake up and come back to our God. He gave us law, statutes, commandments that we must keep in order to be saved as a people, because we are in captivity as we speak, and we're trying to get out of captivity, and we need to be saved by our God to get out of this captivity. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and 15. And it reads, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire." Now, this is a future prophecy, because the Lord said he will come with fire and with his chariots. So we already know this hasn't happened yet. This is a future prophecy that's going to happen, you know, in the future. That's why it's a prophecy, right? To say before. Verse 16, "And for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many." So that God loves everybody is pretty much out the window, because the scriptures say the slain of the Lord shall be many, which means he's going to put a lot of people to death when he returns. Okay, let's go down to verse 17, to the point, right? Verse 17, and it reads, "They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination, and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord." And there go your pork right there, people. Put the pork down, because this is a future prophecy. And the scriptures say, people that's eating swine flesh, shall be consumed together. The Most High is going to put you to death. So don't let nobody deceive you, telling you that you don't have to keep the law, statute, commandment. This is one example of breaking the Most High God, Israel, dietary laws about eating pork and any other abomination that the Most High told us not to eat in Leviticus chapter 11. So like I said, now is the time to come back to the Lord, to get right with the Most High God of Israel. You Israelites, you so-called blacks, so-called natives, and so-called Hispanics, you are the chosen people of God. And it's high time to wake up out of sleep and come back to the Most High God of Israel by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. This is Brother Karatazar, Shield of Israel 144. Shalom.